Her Eminence Dagmo Kusho probably needs no introduction, but I will give a brief one, very brief. She is the author, co-author of the book Prince of the Land of Snow, and it's about our His Lama, His Holiness Jigda Datin Torje Chan, and Her Eminence Dagmo Kusho's escape. They fled Tibet, and so they came to the United States. And then while they were here under the Rockefeller Foundation grant, they settled in Seattle. And then they founded the Sakya Kitchen Churling, which eventually became Sakya Monastery. And so they've lived in Seattle for, Sadarumche, you would know, you were born here, 59 years, and 1959. But let's see, Zayam Rinpoche was the first one born here, so he's how old? 65. Damasho, you guys in 65 years? Yeah, she doesn't know either. 60 years. Anyway, we really have a gem here, a resource with a history of, history from, she was born in Tibet, obviously, and history of Tibet, and history of their immigration to America, and bringing the Dharma to the West. So without further ado, Dhamma suggested I read these questions, but do you want to, Dhamma Kusho, you want to start first, or you want to go with
Question later.
later? Okay. So Dhamma Shah will start and give a brief introduction about herself, her family, and the Dharma in the West. Okay.
Pandatavala Marumache, Takichu, Bemetension, cutting chamber conditions, Gosundo Jomo so. I was asked to talk something about our lamas in Sakya Monastery. So I'm sure most of you already know it's not necessary, but then many of you ask again, and especially Edwin and Anna, and they keep saying, please say something, because we do have many new students. They may not know our lamas. So this is started. So I think I was going to talk too about a little bit life story, short life stories to myself and His Holiness Dachin Doji Chang and Deshung Rinpoche. Two of us would started this monastery. So today I was going to tell you something about myself. So many of older senior students know already, but maybe some of them maybe just remind you. So I was born in East Tibet, Kham, what they call Gulf Province, and 1934, or many years ago. And my family was very Buddhist religion and many generations. And so my mother's side is a very prominent way back in the 18th century, Linkesa, and so the history. And my mother's name is Pinsot Roma. My father's name is Gobotsete. So I was born in a Tibetan lunar calendar, first month and third day. So, and then I lived in town, what they call Talung, which is nearby Talung Monastery, a big Sakya Monastery nearby. So I lived there. I was 4 years old, and I got a special haircut ceremony, Lamalek Parambache, where it's very, very holy Sakya Lamde lineage. And so I got a haircut ceremony and when I was 4 years old, and I introduced of course, for the family, is Dharma family, but that especially that day. And then I was 6 years old, 6 or 7, Tibetan 7, but I think 16. So I went to school with the boys, private boys' school. At those times, we didn't have in our country at a girls' school. Only the girls just private tutor. So I went with the boys' school. There was 7 boys and myself. So that private school in the monastery, Jensen, special teacher, and I was tomboy, and I was very mischievous, and I did do everything like boys did. I got lots of trouble too. So anyway, those times, yes, boys are very important, but I get to go to at the school. And I was in my hometown until I was 14, and which was in the morning, 3-4 hours to go school, and afternoon come home, and to learn all the chores about girls, which means we have our family, we have animal like yak, horse, mules, goat, sheep, and all animals. We had to learn everything. In the summertime, I went to our nomad area, and I learned how to do milking, making yogurt, butter, cheese. I learned, and then fall in springtime, I went with our workers, with my grandmother. So I went to field. I learned everything. I'm not perfect, but I kind of learned all what girls need to know. And at the same time, I ordered dancing, singing with my the hometown. So I would very full life during the my until 14. Then after 14, and I think then I stopped the school and went to my auntie is a nunnery, so just to learn more Buddhism and chanting with the nuns, I enjoyed very much. So when I was 16 years old, and my whole family took time, 1 year off, to do the pilgrimage in west and central Tibet, which is the holiest, like Lhasa, Sakya, and Samye, and also my uncle and the whole family took pilgrimage. So I followed that. I went to pilgrimage hall with them, and I been all central and west. And at the same time, offerings to the monastery, especially Sakya and Ngor monastery, and then whole year. And my uncle had received many teachings from the Sakya teaching, and so we were in the west and the central. And then when I was 16, and I was Sakya principal, and Chan took the consult, and said I became Sakya Dagmo. And so that is not easy. I was born in the common, and an only child. and very little spoiled, I guess. And then I had to learn everything true about Sakya Dhamma, completely different world, which had to learn to meditation, pray, and most retreat, and serving to the lamas, and new language. Especially, I had really a hard time, but I did learn through. I went through all this, and then when I was 19, and Dachi Doji-chan decided to go to East Tibet, receive more teachings, and so such teachings which he had not received from his father, and most he received, but some days, and very famous lamas and Kham. So we went to Kham, and I was 19, I had my first Dongse, Minzu Rinpoche in Kham. So we spent in Kham for almost over 4 years, and I traveled through all Kham area, and my two Dongses were born in Kham, one from Chikudo, where my hometown is. I get to go back to my hometown for a couple months. And we stayed in the nearby for 8 months when my son was raising there. And then my second son was born in Lajagun in Kham also. And then when I was 22 or 23, and Dajen Doji-chan gave the second lamdre in East Tibet, Minya. So while he's giving my lamdre for 4.5 months, and I went to retreat my retreats. I did have short retreats, lots in the Sakya, but this was the one long one. And during that time, it's starting with a little problem in cultural things. And so anyway, so we moved back in, I think in 1956, came back Sakya, and a few years there, and then I had to go to early 57 to Lhasa, to His Holiness Dalai Lama, finish his doctor degree. And so all the Tibetans all over had to go to present the lamas and religious, so we went there. And then I never made it back to Sakya, and so we left from Lhasa and through the reached to Bhutan and India. And then we were in India a year and a half. So, and during that time, I never thought we're going to live our country forever. Every day was the want to go back, thinking. So just, and every day is getting worse, and never made it. Finally, University of Washington, Rockefeller Foundation decided to get 8 countries, the scholars from Tibet, so they wanted to give a 3 years grant. So we were supposed to go to France, and we met the French professor, we everything prepared, but our family was too big. And Dachi Rinpoche said, Dachi Rinpoche, Deshin Rinpoche, and my brother-in-law, Tele Rinpoche, was invited. Dachi Rinpoche said, we came, escaped from together. I don't want to leave children from our wife. So, and then they decided that University of Washington was the more people can get. So 8 of us, our family, we came in the 1960. in the University of Washington for 3 years grant. So during that time, every day I thought I can go back to bed, I can go back to bed. I remember I did ask the Professor Wiley when we did the agreement signed for 3 years to University of Washington. I said, if the Tibetan get freedom, go back, can we leave? He said, no, you already signed, you can go. So I thought all the Tibetans be gone back and we were still here. But we stuck here anyway. Anyway, then they got every time getting worse. And then meanwhile, we can't even hear anything from Tibet. Backward, nothing, just kind of, that's what happened. So as you know, many Tibetans, almost all Tibetans, that have their family is behind in Tibet. Some came out separated. And I don't know for many years what happened. And later, 1980s, you can hear little news, but of course not good one. There's no communication, cannot go back, cannot do. Anyway, so that's what my kind of life. And after we been here, of course, coming in the United States, of course, we are completely different, and there's no monastery, no church, no center, nothing here. So we can start it. We never give our practice. We already have, first thing when we arrived here, Dr. Rinpoche said, first thing we want to set in the house in the shrine room. That's first thing started. So we did maintaining here. So I had 3 sons when I came out from India. Rinpoche was 6 months pregnant. And then my 2 younger sons were born here. And so 3 were born in Tibet. So very interesting, I don't regret anything that all things I went through, but I tried very, very hard. Of course, cannot give the triple gem. Always pray and guiding and showing protection. And so everything I try to follow. And in Tibet, we don't have such a hospital for the babies, and maybe some people may have a midwife. So 3 my sons, I did myself. And why was labor? You just making the cotton thread and boil hot water and boil melting butter with some herbs, and then you paint. But I hear lots of people say how difficult it is labor and giving birth, many hours. It's very fortunate. I think it's such a doses are different. I really never had that. Of course, there is pain. You have to bring out another person. But I did it myself. And I cut in the navel. Yeah, probably called it myself. But later, the doctor said, you probably didn't do very good because you never learn, you're not doctor. But they didn't have any problem. My son is perfect, okay. But my 2 youngest one, of course, in the hospital. And that was completely different. For example, like Rinpoche was the first ever born in the United States Tibetan child. So when he was born in Tibet, when we were the laboring, and after baby is born, they put just baby inside and quietly. But mother is this is they'll make so fresh butter, melt it, and put some herbs, and you have to drink soup, and put ointments on the body, and all this. And when in Tibet, all this, just mother is important. Child just put aside and wash. But here is completely when I had Zaya Rinpoche in hospital, and they took Zaya Dilly and upside down and like to, oh, leave my baby. I thought they're beating up. And mother, they do nothing. Cold water with ice. And I was hungry, I was just so exhausted, but that's so different. And of course, then I washed the baby there. And the same thing happened at Sadhurumche, and it's in the bottle born in the United States with the doctor. Of course, I never had a doctor and midwife, things in Tibet, so I asked the lady doctor. But when the time comes, lady daughter's gone on vacation, and then daughter, I didn't care what's true. Anyway, all my 5 sons, and I raised, of course, Dacha Rinpoche. When we first came here, we are the refugee family, first refugee family. And American people are very, very nice, and a lot of Christian church. And we came like in October. It was Thanksgiving and Christmas, so people brings in a lot of gifts and things. And we don't speak any English. You can't even say thank you. But I thought this is the place we really, if we can't go back to Tibet, this is the place we should stay. So they were really nice. And so anyway, then of course, after 3 years, we cannot go back to Tibet. We don't want to go back in the refugee camp in India. And so we immigrate in the United States. And it wasn't easy that time because our paper is just only 3 years. But somehow, meanwhile, 2 sons were born. And they cannot kick out for American citizens. And they figured out, so we were first the Tibetan family who became green card first, and then it became a citizen. So anyway, we are very happy. And so anyway, like my life, I served much as I can to, of course, I was born with a family, with a religious family, and in Tibetan custom, we always respect elders, and I love older people very much. I served my great-great-uncle, my mother, mother's mother, my grandma. They helped me so much. And also, I served my Uncle Deshu Rinpoche and the Dacha Rinpoche's teacher, who is Khenche. His teacher is Khenche, who was older. They both are fully ordained. And usually Tibetan fully ordained Gelong, they cannot really touch or serve by a woman. But I was fortunate, and they allowed me to do, especially my uncle always said, Dagmo Kusho, she took care of the children. Her hand is so gentle. And even he has monks, and his sister, his brother, always ask me to do giving bath and haircut and cleaning his ear. cutting his toenail and a fingernail, I served my uncle Deshu Rinpoche. And Khenche also I served him because Dajen Rinpoche's teacher, and Dajen Rinpoche started when he studied the alphabet, and this teacher was always with him and came with him and come all over. Khenche Sanje Tenzin. And so those two fully ordained, but I had a chance to serve. And they told me lots of their secret things. For example, like Khenche Sanje Rinchen, he told me that when he was in Kham, and he said he practiced Lamde, of course. Or he called me also kind of teases the name. And this some wonderful Dagmo, very famous, had a hard time, and she took care of her son and educated and took up lots of such duty things. So he kind of called me. I didn't like it because I said, I'm not her. Anyway, he knows. But he told me lots of things few months earlier. His science in Lamde, like this inner, outer, and secret death science is coming slowly. So he told me, I didn't like it here. I said, no, I don't want it here. I didn't want it here. And so these lamas telling me the secret things, and I was a little bit naive, so I don't listen. And later I realized, oh, I wish I listened it. So anyway, Khenche. And also I served Dachen Rinpoche all his life, as well Dagmo Kusho Rinpoche. Dagmo Kusho Rinpoche was with us all in 1 year teaching with Dzongsa Chinsa Rinpoche, and then later 7 months he did the Damnganze in the Hyacha monastery he came. So I served, and whenever he goes teachings, he doesn't bring his concert. So I served him everything, and those two are different. I had to do braided this hair. The other lamas had to cut their hair. So anyway, I served, and I felt good. I have done something from my sincerely. And of course, these blessings is protections, and so guiding me through until now. So anyway, then I practiced. After I came back from India to United States, and I had to work because I didn't want the Dachen Rinpoche to do work, because he's a very prominent Lama and he likes the practice, he likes the teaching. So I think you should start some center, and I work to support the sons to go school. So I worked 6 days a week. Anyway, work hard, but I didn't regret. I worked hard and served, taking care. And those times, there's no offering, nothing. We just do ourselves, everything, which is very good. And anyway, and then, so later, many lamas started coming in the United States. And then the lamas gathering. And of course, whenever those lamas get together, they talk, they tease each other, and they all talk things. And I was the only woman probably in there, but did not really pay attention. I don't pay attention. I didn't think I'm a woman either. Listen. So, and then they started Trungpa Rinpoche and says, Sakya Dagmo has received this tremendous teaching than any other woman. So she should start some teaching, because in the West, there are lots of women like to learn some more Buddhism. And I said, no, no such things. I never promised lamas that teach, only my practice, no way. And then I started with translating some Dashi Rinpoche as well as my uncle. And because they have a monk translator. So the people, some couple, those times and the hippie, lots of hippie, good hippies. So when they come, they ask a question, the Dharma question, or their life, boyfriend, girlfriend. So the Rinpoche, answer is pray, pray, pray. And the monks answer same thing. I said, you're not answering their question. I said, what is it? Then I said, their question is different. It's, the boy, girl, how to deal, how to compassion. So, loving thing. I said, I don't know that. You do it. So then I started a little bit helping them, and that helped. That helped. So lots of women came to me, and you know the answer, please. So I started. And then again, we gathered in a Rocky Mountain Dhamma Center in Colorado. And the Tenpa Rinpoche, Ranjan Rinpoche, Deshun Rinpoche, Dachin Rinpoche, and many Chensa Rinpoche. And we flew up the helicopter and gathered there. And in there, and they started, says, okay, today we're going to make Dhamma to start teaching the women some answer question. I said, no, thank you, no, thank you. I just left there. It was just embarrassing. I thought that they were teasing me. They're always teasing me anyway. And so anyway, I left. So, and then I said, Trungpa Rinpoche came to me. I said, why? Why you are so hesitant? You have all this quality and you can help so many people. There are so many women are really needed to answer by a woman teacher. I said, because I never promised lamas I teach. I never promised myself. And I practice myself, keep up, and serving the lamas if I can. No. Okay, then he wrote this Dagmo Kusho Rinpoche, Sakya teaching, and my uncle said, Dhamma is not teaching. And it says no permission from teacher. And he wrote to, I'm thinking many of you know Vana Jackie. She was a very, very pushing. She said, you're not doing your duty always. And she collected many women students and sent it to. So of course they cannot say no. He said, okay, yes, we have permission, you teach. So that's how I started, became the teaching. And then I also discussed with the lamas, what should I start teaching? There's so many in my life I practice. So many in my life with all Tibetan lamas, Sakya, Nyima, Kagyu, Gelu, Pembo, everybody I received some teachings. But what is the benefit? And of course, Visiddhara is your main, it's the easiest and teach starting. So that's what I started teaching. And then I learned later, I realized, and helping. And many students and caretakers, nurses came to me, helped them a lot. And then I give a permission that dancing. There was a Pama came and she asked many other lamas, And they said, okay, but not really. Then I said, okay, I think I'm a thorough teacher. So if you receive the student full empowerment, then you can start the dance. But because Tara dance, as you know, some of you can see the Tara dances, you have to visualize which Tara you are. So if you didn't receive, you're not, blessing is not connected. So Pama promised, and I started that. So the Tara dances from the beginning came from here. So it's very popular. She's helping tremendously. And a lot of other dancer ladies are helping each other. So I'm very happy. And of course, these are, anything is the positive and helping others and loving and kindness. Like the Buddhism is mainly loving and kindness toward others. So we always say all the sentient beings, but you really pray yourself. But you have to really think that here. All the sentient beings, world peace. And this is how we, thinking. And if you think positive, of course, it's quite different culture. And I know lots of Westerners learning all the Tibetan Buddhism and culture, as well as we learning Western culture, which is really important. You have to learn because, for example, like if you don't know the culture and the tradition, I made lots of mistakes when I came here. When we came, we're a refugee family, but a High Lama's family. And all University Washington professors, once in a while, they have tea parties, and all ladies, their wives will come, introduce us each other. And in the Tibetan custom, first thing we ask, introduce, how are you? What's your name? How old are you? And I asked many professor wives, how old are you? And some never answered me. And some said, what do you think? Then the Tibetan thinking, older you are is more respect. I added some more years. So later I found out I was doing. Nobody told me. So now even Tibetans don't like to ask in age. So I don't care. And we live this long. So I think it's that the age is not really. So anyway, that culture, I just giving some example, same thing. And some people said, oh, your wife is beautiful. Rinpoche said, no. But they think, oh, you're rude. But we don't do that Tibetan custom. And here in the Western, you ask, thank you. Just like, yes, I am, like, right? It's different. But it's a good to learn culture and good to learn think, respect it. And religion is also same thing. All the religion I respect. All the religion is always helping to others. And them different way, different things. But of course, we are the Buddhist. And the way I think the Buddhist, the one that best for me, because we believe Le Jumdre Kiwanga Machima, which means cause, effect, and birth and death, and rebirth, and all this. So I think it's always comes together. So it is very important thinking. And for example, every one of us, when we're born, we have to die. But die means just gone forever. No, we'll come back at rebirth. So what in the Buddhism teaching said, whatever you are now, your previous life brought you. Such a fortunate meeting the teacher, meeting the Dharma, have the practice, all senses good, everything, freedom, all. And what next life you want to be in your hand. So it's all in our hand, what you want to be. So that's why we practice whatever we this is things like, so I kind of wrote it, it was said it's 15 minutes. The 15 minutes doesn't do anything. But if you have no time, then you can go. But it's 15 minutes. I am an old practitioner, old custom, old. I don't like to do the too short. I want a little bit complete so that people can ask a question. So that's how, is so. So that's roughly, I give you all of my life. Of course, if you want to know all my life, takes days. Because my life was up and down, up and down. I was born in Kham, with just a small village, like I said, and then moved to Sakya, became like first lady there. And then I received the teachings, unlike other women. And I had to learn every chore in the house because I learned, and until I was 14, about 16. So I learned how to do the weaving and all this, everything. I wasn't, like I said, I'm not very good, but I did learn because I love to go with the people. I love to do with the people. My mother always said, even you don't have to do, you have to learn so you can teach others, which is true. So today, when I'm talking with the younger generation like Anidoma, and said, we did this field, we did how to make milk, we did, she doesn't know. Now everything machine, even in Tibet. So it's really interesting, and some are very interesting, but that's how life is. It's changing so much. And so anyway, that's a part of my life story. And so if you have, there's some question, right? Yeah, I take it some question, yes. Or maybe somebody already answered. Okay.
In depth, a question in depth about green Tara. Can I ask that? It says, has Tara always been your main practice? How were you introduced to Tara? Can I do green Tara mantra if I haven't received the empowerment yet?
Yes, Tara is one main practice, although I have lots of other practice, yes. Because Tara is something that Buddha, Bodhisattvas, all the sentient beings, she plants a mother. And we all need a mother. Yes, that is very important. If you want really good practice doing, it's good to receive the initiation. And otherwise, you can do without initiation because many of you already have refuge vow. So the practice Tara is always with you like a loving mother. Yes.
I think you answered most of these from the audience. Yeah, Trinidad.
I have a.
Trinidad has a question.
So Dhamma, thank you so much for your presence here. You make an enormous contribution in my life, and I think everybody that I've met. The center, one time you were doing a practice with Tara, and you had lots of people come over and visit. And this one lady came to me. I think she was from another center in New York, and she said, "I feel this center has very, very strong female energy, you know." And I agree. I think because of your presence, a lot of the practitioners here are mostly women, and they are very, very happy that you're here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your wisdom,
Thank
your
you.
love. My question has to be that, with you giving us all this knowledge, this wisdom, as Green Tara, as a female teacher, leader, I want to know can we continue the trend? How can we continue so you can teach others and continue the trend of, more female teachers, gifted teachers, to make sure that, that we're all in the same place.
I think there's no difference. Female teacher, male teacher, there's no difference. But Green Tara promised herself when there was saying the male is such important. The monk said, if you practice like that, you maybe next life become male. So she said, no, I want to remain in female and to teach. Because they are not any different, but the female has more, I think, soft and a gentle heart, and they would do right away. Male maybe later, right? And so it's something different. And also, the woman is who take care of all babies. Carry 9 months, giving birth, and carrying the human birth. And any animal that wanted to get up, walk later a few hours, not human. You have to raise until certain age. And that's why the children or background, parents, especially mother, good loving mother, always comes good. And that's why she did promised, remain female to serve to all sentient beings. And otherwise, like, in the Jinrei and the emanation from Genesis, and also the Chinese like Guanyin, sometimes they are Jinrei female. They're no different that part, but it's just something the soft heart. So makes it different. So that's why I think I believe that way. And I also believe, like you mentioned, that some people kind of liked my teaching, because when I give a teaching to my student, if they're really sincere when practice, I don't think myself has a special power or achievement, learn it, or anything. But I have received tremendous teachings. All these holiest bodhisattvas, past, living, and their protection, they are always special for me, teaching and giving some secret message and things. So I thought I can pass their blessing teaching to my student.
There is a Sakya nunnery Sakya nunnery in Rajpur. Jitsuma.
Oh, talking Jitsuma? Oh, yeah, there's
About women's lineage.
For example, like in the Sakya lineage, they always the male lineage. the Jizuma daughters. And when the daughters, up to my time, then none of the doctor married daughters. They all became nun and taught teaching. And so even now is the daughter's son, or they not such a full lineage, their family. But there was two very famous Jutsumas came in such a lineage. And one from Punso, one from Dromo. And those, the Jutsumas, the true Vajrayogini emanation. And Punso one is Jutsun Tamdring Omo, which was not my time. There was a previous, many years ago. I think Dachin Rinpoche's grandfather's sister, and who went to come and talked laundry, and she's through Vajrayogini. But like I said, at those times, many male monasteries, different set of religion. And so when she was giving initiation in Alangnak monastery, I have been that Dongdo Rinpoche, yes, Dongdo Rinpoche monastery. So she was giving initiation there, so lots of other different set of monastery monks came. Oh, we heard this, the woman giving initiation. You want to see how old she is, a big deal. Like they just want to go look there from the door, watching. And she kind of knew that on the show. So she was sitting in the throne, gave initiation, and there was a sunrise, they come in the window. What do you call sunrise? Sunrise. Or anyway, she wanted to start giving but she has a dojin bell in the hand. So she got up, put her dojin bell on the sunrise, and tried to put her clothes up. And those monks shocked us. Oh, this is not just woman teacher. So they later received that teaching. There's history. And then Jutsun Pema Chile, with such a teaching, Rinpoche's father is Ngunga Rinchen. His father is, his father's sister, who was Jutsun Pema Chile. And then later they even call it Django Pema Chile. She went to come, golf teaching, lots of things happened, of course. But she is also the true emanation of the Vajrayogini. My uncle Deshun Rinpoche came Sakya when received from her all teaching from Vajrayogini. And she was staying in the Kautrazong, which is the couple hours from Sakya, which is very, very holiest place in cave. And she was staying there. And my uncle took me with him. I was 15, I think. So I received all his teachings, but I didn't know what it was. It's just sitting there properly. Anyway, I met her. I received the Vajrayogini teaching. She lived, and then this was in 1949 or early 50 something. So that's those two female Jutsumas, and very, very holy, yes. So that's the lineage, but the whole thing is from son to son. That's the tradition way. So you know the history of Sakya. The Sakya family is not ordinary family. They descended from Salatoralam, and that's the lineage.
Hi, thank you for being here and for sharing today. You talked about cultural differences between Tibet and here. I've never heard somebody in a modern context identify or call themselves a consort. I was wondering if you could explain what, when you say consort, is it different from spouse or partner or husband or wife? And is it a gender neutral term, like spouse, or is it just for women? Could you just explain a little bit more culturally what you mean by that word? Thank you.
That's a good question. But when I was in Tibet, I never heard of consort either, which they call a Sakya, they call it Sakya Dagmo, which is a Dachen and Dagmo. That's the only. And then when the lamas took their many Nimapa lamas, they take and they handle. And then Sangyong, which the Uzang central and western, they call it Sangyong, which means Sang means the sacred wife. Because the lamas sometimes cannot really marry unless there's special lama, there's some prophecy or some kind of what do you call, saying the lama may die if you don't take like you said, a consort, which is called a kandro. That female is chosen. And many females, they have chosen. Some has, like I'm sure any of you have this, is some kind of blessing or blessing. We say it's rebirth for some kind of is the not ordinary with the kandroma. Kandroma is more like dagini in English. And also they say the angel. I don't know. There's something connected. For example, Zongsa Chitsa Rinpoche, he was 60 when he took his Sangyong. And he was very, very sick, hospitalized. And many are doing the puja and things. They all said he had to take kandroma. And then they chosen, and kandroma has to be pure and a certain age, certain an animal where they're born. And there's 3 children. He took this. And 3 children was, I think, only 21. He was 60. It's not like husband and wife. They're just a partner to support kind of religious way. Because I know Zongsa Chensa Rinpoche, we stayed in Zongsa for a whole year receiving teaching. He has a sitting like this. It's just another square. He just sits there. And then he comes at teaching, and then the consultant, she sits there. So, she became a very close my friend. So we both are, I was 20, I think she was 23, 24, but she acted like younger than me. So we didn't do right things anyway. Anyway, we were told to get some special teacher and writing, reading, and some grammar, but we didn't do it. And especially when we did like teaching like a lamdre, you have to do special yogi practice and everything exercise. And we laughing and making fun with others. And today I regret that. That part I regret because I didn't do very good. And instead we doing the practice and reading and writing, we did sewing, making lots of aprons and hat, bought sewing machine. So we got lots of trouble with the Lama scold us. Anyway, and so that but he did take that. That's like their control. Control, in East Tibet they call it control. The Lamas took control, which means that control is that woman is something not usual. And then the Central and West they call it Sangyong, which means sacred wife. Yeah, and then the consort is more like it's deities. Deities has a Yabiyum, but then any lots of deities. They look like that, but it's not really. There's some had to have the female form, male, and there's something to do with practice, something to do with your achievement, something to do with your accomplish. Yes.
This is much more than 15 minutes. This is going to happen next month also. So put that on your calendar. This quarter we have it once a month, and he's going to talk about his Holiness Tibetan Dorje Chan and good life together. So look forward to that little show. Thank you.
Thank you. 손놈들에게 당체 세번이 너는 여외자 남판주치 제가 능신 발랑주와 세비 톨렌도와 조바 쇼 릴라치고 요원들도 당체여서 동무
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We have tea.